Hey up everybody, what's going on? Welcome back to Skegness Town, where change of plans. This is going to be Season 1 and 2 in one summary video. I've recorded the Season 1 video twice, neither I can use. The first one had the same recording issue as the Champions League Liverpool Sheffield United episode that got binned as a result. The second one, recording's fine. I deleted the game that I recorded from the stream that goes in the middle of it. So, a bit pointless now. Otherwise, I'm just going to very quickly summarise Season 1. The game for Season 2 is still here, that's fine, that'll be in here, and then Season 2 summarised. I've actually saved it directly on the point where it goes to the season summary. So, first up, Season 1. This is how it ended. 36 games played, we were second. I think largely due to the constant incoming of new players. Never really had a cohesive 11, and I think that affected it. There was 12 draws in there. We didn't lose very many, but 12 draws. What's a real shame is the game played was the final day of the season where 4 teams were fighting for 2 positions. That might look weird because Hallam are 5 points behind. Winston played Hallam on the final day. Winston went into the final day top. They could have finished it, not even promoted. We could have been anywhere between 1st and 4th. On the final day though, we had Dronfield, you can see there, we won 6-2. North Ferriby had Hall Road Rangers, who they only beat 1-0, but they're quite down the table. They're 15th and Dronfield were 18th. So I was presuming ourselves and Ferriby would win our games, respectively. Thankfully, goal difference saw us promoted as a result. 10 more goals on the goal difference front than Ferriby, who are a very potent side, actually. I've seen them get back-to-back promotions in this year's game. So the fact that they were 3rd was a bit surprising. The fact it was Winterton had the edge on them. Very surprised by that. But you can sort of see from the average ratings alone who the best players were. I'm not going to mention the players too much for Season 1 just because there were so many of them coming in and out. And I mentioned a few of them in the intro video because that was recorded partway through the season. But the main man really is Jonathan Capend, who had 40 goals in 34 starts. If I saw by appearances as well, there was very few players with a lot of appearances. Matt Nolan, the goalkeeper, pretty much the only one to be regularly in the side. A lot of these players obviously joined over the course of the season or were phased out over the course of the season. Some of these would be people who played early on and then didn't play late on, like Jake Green, for instance, who is now only 2 stars. Gary Thompson's another one of those, of course. I think I highlighted him in the intro video. The former Carabao Cup finalist with Bradford City only ended up playing 11 games. Did very well in them, but only ended up playing 11 games. Now 40. I think he retires at the end of the year. If we sort by ability going into next season, this late pickup, Eddie Brown and James Morris, were looking to be the strikers. Jonathan Capend, despite all his efforts in this season, way down here. And realistically, looking at the formation, there were some positions that really needed fixing. Left back, never had a consistent left back. Central midfield, we had a bit of an issue with. Bascom came in late. He was the only star performer in midfield pretty much over the entirety of the season. We had big issues with consistency in quality performances in the centre midfield and left back. Right back, eventually solved by Matthew Young. Centre back, solved by Coker and Shaw. Striking wise, never had any issues with Capend and Morris all told. The wingers largely alright. Lee Knight's actually mostly a striker. Louis Walsh played there for the most of the season. Yeah, we have a player called Louis Walsh. And on the left-hand side, Luca Carter-Henry came in quite late. But as I say, we probably had about 60 players come through the doors in this first season. It was very hard to get a cohesive level. Not many of them actually played, but we had a fair few players come in who were like, oh, you might be alright, in you come. Oh, you might do a job, in you come. Some of them never even did a job, but it was sort of a constant improvement cycle, which ended up backfiring realistically because they never really settled as an 11. At the end of the season, we turned semi-pro. I had to start paying people for their performances, which is a bit irritating because they still weren't locked into contracts, so they could still be nicked at any point. It seems a bit weird that cost me going up, even though they could still be stolen from me, which is really irritating. But Season 2, Winston had come up with us. Winston won the Regional Cup, it's worth mentioning. The Tier 10 side Winterton won the Regional Cup, which included Tier 9 and Tier 10. The final was actually between Hallam and Winston again. So it was 2 Tier 10 sides in that final. And the fact that that was the regional final gave me hope for Tier 9, realistically, because if 2 Tier 10 sides can get to the end of the Regional Cup, then how good are the Tier 9 sides? James Morris, it's worth saying here, the 3.5-star striker here, was the star striker in the Dream 11 for that tier above. He said, yeah, I'll come down a tier. Why not? I don't know why. It'd be interesting to see how he does. It'd be interesting to see how Eddie Brown does. Now, I know the answer to this, but I'm just building up for your purposes. You can see why I liked Eddie Brown very late on. Came in, played 3 games, scored twice. And at this stage, operating at regional Premier Division level, which I think is actually Tier 7, and potential to be a Sky Bet League 2 is his prediction on here, with my admittedly iffy coaches. The fact he agreed to come to a tier 10 side that might just become a tier 9 side was incredibly interesting. Now, because my Season 2 save is currently poised right on the page for the seasonal summary, we're going to go straight into the Season 2 video, which is the Northern Counties East Cup final. On this page, you can see it says Hallam vs Winston. That was that final from last year, but in Season 2, we're in that final. Over to pass me. Thank you. So, on the match day here, Bothersford versus Skegness Town, we've got McLeod in goal, Mills, Holland, Shaw and Hanson on the back line, Giverin, Bascom, Fuster and Walsh, Morris and Brown as the attacking lineup. So, if you watched the summary vid from last season, you'll be well aware of Morris and Brown. They have been doing the bits. 43 goals for Brown, 40 for Morris, 83 between the pair of them. I'll be honest, not that many goals elsewhere. Yes, they have been quite a potent force, and they're both regarded 4.5 stars. They slightly skew the star rating for the rest of the squad, if I'm completely honest. Another standout to mention is Gareth McLeod in goal, signed on a free. He's really quite good. Yeah, 17, trying not to let him leave. We had another player, it's a very similar situation, like a released youth prospect from Scotland. Newport nicked him. His contract does run out at the end of the year, though, for some reason. They only gave him about 6 months. So we'll be hopefully trying to get him back again at the end of the year. But Ryan Winters, yeah, he was a really good defender. I want him back. For the time being, Holland and Shaw are doing very well. I thought that was a shot for a second, but that's Holland and Barrett. Anyway, there is one name. You may spot him on the bench. One Football Manager legend, that is Andy Thanodge. He can come on, 13 passing in course, 12 stamina is not too bad. He's not fast, his jumping ratio ain't great, but 16 free kick taking is where he shines, of course. So he can come on. Doesn't like a big game though, so he's not starting the final. Released from Boston, hasn't had to go far, probably hasn't even had to leave his lodgings in Boston to play for Skegness. It's an easy enough commute. Submit that team. The opponents of Bothersford, by the way, they are towards the bottom of our division here in the Northern Counties East Cup final. Yeah, we rotate a little bit out for the the weekend game. This is midweek. They have Marcus Gabadon, who I'm wondering if is any form related to the more professional Gabadon. It's Danny Gabadon. I had this issue last stream. I couldn't remember his first name. It's Danny, isn't it? That went down a treat, didn't it? Blimey. And well, they'll line up 4-2-3-1. A bunch of new gen faces in their squad already, though, including a Rudy, which worries me. But it is 4-4-2 from us with defensive wingers. If you watch the beginning of the York save with myself, I've sort of taken inspiration from that particular formation this year for Skegness, where we've got the defensive wingers, slightly more attacking centre of midfield. But it's Mills with an early throw in 2 minutes in. We did smash Bodsford not too long ago. Yeah, they are towards the bottom of our table. It has been lumped forward and there's no one to run onto it, thank God. Shaw will gather that up. Mills. Danny Shaw, of course, a player that was in here last season. He has retained his first team status. We have had to recruit. Eddie Brown is onside there, purely because Morris was basically off the pitch when he made the cross, I think. And he has scored within 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes, making it 44 goals for the year for Eddie Brown. Eddie Brown is stupidly good. Yeah, he's basically off the pitch when he's made that cross, and Brown is just there to tap in. James Morris, is worth noting, was offered a position at Billericay, who were promoted. They're in the Vanarama normal. That's constrating. Guayam Pool, irritating. But Billericay have been promoted. They're in the Vanarama, just straight Vanarama. They offered Morris a contract, and he rejected them to earn no pounds a week here because he won't even agree to a contract where I can pay him per play. Even though we did move to semi-professional, for some reason I can't actually give part-time contracts. I can only give pay-as-you-play contracts. So at least it's no longer amateur contracts. But so I am now having to actually pay people for each of their performances. They've actually gone 2-1 up here. What is happening? We've not been in a losing position for 13 games. I'm pretty certain we have just won 13 on the bounce. It's worth noting, at this stage of the season, we are 19 points clear in the actual league. So although they have scored 2 goals from an XG of 0.16, so that's gone well. And at least they've missed that one. Can we have somebody from the lads here? Please. Eddie Brown, has he just been injured? What's happened there? Yeah, I think he was. Can't be doing that. Late demand more. I mean, we're on top of this. It's Mills with a throw-in. That was utterly pointless. Don't know why he didn't throw it to one of his own teammates. Jack Cross has been injured. I know he said Jordan Cross. Have been playing too much Hitman lately? Paul has gone through this. What on earth? Why have they carved us apart? Oh my God. Jamie Jean has just scored. It's 3-1 going into half-time. A little bit of luck there, a little bit of nonsense leading up to that. What on earth happens here? There's a ricochet involved initially. Yeah, great block. Ends up at his feet again. Furious. Absolutely furious with all of them. What on earth has happened here? Unbelievable XGing on that front. Thrash the arms. Stop letting yourselves down, you absolute cretins. Might have to go attacking here as well. Okay, corner for Bascom. Morris is at the near post. Morris has scored 3-2. We're back in it. 41 for him. He's broken Capen's goal scoring record from last year as well. Obviously, Eddie Brown in the lead. It's basically the most interesting thing left for this season after this cup is finding out which one of them is going to score more. Because as I say, 19 points clear. We could win it within 3 games at the end of March. It's been headed clear. That was a bit weird. Just the trajectory of the ball. I couldn't see what happened to it there. Shaw to Hansen to Holland. Holland's going to whip it to no one. Gabardon clears again, but Hansen will gather that up again. And Fuster, he's on 6.2. Bit of a muppet. I had to make that joke eventually. Hansen, he's put it in. Might get an assist here. Morris over. Walsh hasn't been good. Fuster hasn't been good. Fuster. Shaw's got in. Danny Shaw has scored. It is 3-3. Does get a fair few goals from corners, Danny Shaw. Well, Winters was before he got nicked by Newport's under 18s, but Danny Shaw's picked up the mantle since then and got 4 of his own. That's 3-3. Game on. Holland heads on. Jean is there in some space. I don't like this. Close him off a little bit. Thank you. Yeah, that has done. Fuster kicks it against one of their players, but we get away with it. I'm thinking Thanodge. The pass through the middle. Brown on the right is in space as well. And he scored. 45 from him. Morris just strayed offside. Morris does tend to like to go offside quite a lot. For a player with 41 goals, he would probably have over 50, including all the disallowed ones for being offside. It's a bit ridiculous. You see, he's maintaining his run, goes a little bit probably offside as the pass is played, thankfully. It goes to Brown instead on the right-hand side there, rather than Morris through the middle. But could have pulled that trigger way earlier. It's 4-3. Louis Walsh has been injured. I was about to take him off. That's a little irritating for groin injury. Right-o. Fuster's going to come off for Thanodge as well. We're going to move Bascom and Thanodge around. And we can come up attacking and go just positive again now for the time being. Sure, he's going to dink it forward, but not quite. Baldwin. What a final, though. What a final. Hansen. Can we get this clear? No. Sort of. Back to Shaw again. This is a lot of heading back and forth. I'm a bit awkward, but Higgs is on the ball now. Interesting challenge. He has been sent off for that. Righto. We did just play a match where they went down to 9 men. And they were playing a fabled, 7-1 formation at the end of all that. There was one person across the halfway line on the formation map. They went very defensive after going down to 9. But down to 10 men, we've got a goal advantage and a man advantage now, I suppose. So still worried. Andy can't get past their player, which is a bit awkward considering he's booked. Could easily baited into a challenge there. Giverin does well. I'll be honest, Giverin not really. No, actually, no, Giverin's okay on the old defensive front, I think, because he can play left back if necessary. Oh, Andy, mate, he just got his first goal for the club. He joined about a month ago. I couldn't turn down the opportunity. He arrived in my inbox saying, "Hi, I'm available." So I signed him. Jesus, James Morris. Those front two are lethal. Just the 86 goals between the pair of them now. 42 and 44. This is ridiculous. 5-3 in this final. We did beat someone 8-3 already this season. We play them last, I think, that team. But the title should be well and truly wrapped up by then, I would hope. I think Hansen's going to come off here. Mostly because I don't have a left back. Well, that's irritating timing. I'm just going to have to let that go. It's going to have to be 10 men each now for the last few minutes. Not a lot I could do about that. We're just going to have to play without a left winger. I could maybe pull one of the strikers over there. 30 seconds to go. 2 goals to the good at this stage. Morris is going to get on the end of this, go past his man, charge in on goal, I suspect. Probably have a shot himself. No. Sort of. No. What's happened? It's gone in the goal. I don't know how. It's 6-3. 1 left foot, 1 right foot, 1 with his head. There's 2 for Brown, I think. 1 for Danny Shaw and 3 for Morris. Come out of nowhere there and got 3 goals late on. Okay, that cancels out the fortunate goal for them, pretty much, I would say. He has kept that in. I generally thought they would just kick that straight out from kickoff. That would have been hilarious if they'd done that. Okay, apparently still enough time for another goal. 6-4. Ridiculous goal. I think McLeod was just waiting for the final whistle to go. It's just like, come on, blow the whistle, ref, blow the whistle. And, it's gone in. Arguably the best goal of the damn game, but wow. That is a ridiculous goal. Out of nowhere, 6-4. We're seeing the kickoff highlight, but I suspect they may actually blow the whistle soon now. But it has been played forward. There is a space on the right for the player over here, and also on the left. Mills is in some space. I forgot they were down to 10 men as well, to be honest. Morris, it's the post. Could have been 7. It was deflected onto the post, but could have been 7. It's still going, this highlight. Throw in. We do have long throw techniques on, so doesn't go into the box for that though. Morris hits the player, corner, blow the whistle now. There we are. I could breathe. 10 goals. 10 goals in this game. Well, I'm glad I recorded this rather than the potential championship winning game. And there we are in our home kit, our white kit, our only kit, let's be real. Northern Counties East Cup. It's only a minor trophy, but it's our first one, and that is something special. Of course, we're on course for the title, so that could be another bit of silverware come the end of the year, come in about 3 weeks, quite frankly. Depending if other teams drop any more points, we might win it within the next 2 or 3 games. It's our goalkeeper doing the cartwheel. You'll love to see it. There we are, praising whatever fans have come to Grimsby's Blundell Park. Doesn't look like that many. I was hoping for more. I need a bit of money. But with an XG of 0.6, they score 4. With an XG of 2.6, we score 6. I'll praise them, even though we did concede 4 goals. Oh, we get the Comeback King achievement for that as well. It's the first time we've done that all year. Being 2 goals down at half-time and coming back and winning. Yeah, it's 900 quid for winning it, but I'm hoping to payday 3 to 4 weeks. That's quite bad, actually. Thankfully, I've got players who can step in. But yeah, first silverware there. Praise Morris, who did assist one as well. And I was furious at half-time, of course. So, back to future, Charlie. So there we were. Thank you for that one past me. And the first silverware for our season. As you can see from the end of season review, though, I'm not sure if those symbols below are indicative of what we've won. But yes, we did indeed win the overall title. Emphatically, really, actually, in the end. But in terms of transfers in Season 2, a lot more restrained in the players that came in, which was possibly part of the reason why we performed so well. It was a case of just taking those really good players at the points that we needed them. Jake Goodman, 7.35. Jacob Hansen, 7. Jack Holland, 7. Football Manager legend Andy Thanodge, 6.99. Gareth McLeod, the goalkeeper, just shy of a 7. The goalkeeper. 51 appearances, all things considered. New gen, released from Queen of the South. What a signing he was. Really hoping he doesn't get nicked at any point, if I'm honest. Billy Fuster, 6.97, again came in halfway through the season to improve a dodgy midfield. The midfield became a problem again. Bascombe did very well when he came in at the end of Tier 10 the last season. Off the boil this year. Flanagan, still not great on either. So the centre of the field was an area that I did need to improve realistically. So Thanodge and Fuster came in to be those improvements. Centre-back issue became a problem as well because we brought in a really good centre-back in the same manner as Gareth McLeod from a Scottish side. I think it might have been Ross County. From a Scottish side released. He came in, was in our centre-back position for half the season before he got nicked by Newport County. Yeah, a League 2 side took him. So we needed a replacement in centre-back, and that's where Goodman and Holland came in. Right-back was just a bit problematic in general, so Hansen came in. He was a massive improvement, just star rating-wise, overall ability-wise, on any other right-back we had. So that was a case of, yes, you'll do. Potential ability as well, if you can grow into it. 24 now. Forgot that was a thing. There we are. And some other players who didn't quite have the same impact. Jordan Mills had 42 appearances, 6.91 at left back. He's not good, but he had 42 appearances at left back and got a 6.91. He's 2 stars, left back, star rating wise, really problematic for players. Dominant. As I said, dominant. Ended up 23 points clear, just shy of 100 points, which was a little irritating, considering the way the season ended. There was a draw there with Heanor Town and Ossett as well. Once we'd won the title, we had 2 draws, which botched the 100 points. Eddie Brown, competition top scorer. 40 goals just in the division for Eddie Brown. That player stayed with us. The biggest win was not at all the 6-0 over Hucknall, but the match to remember, Mansfield, 7-2. Actually, in terms of score line, that might be the biggest gap in goals. There was an 8-3 as well. And goal of the season is one of Eddie Brown's, running from inside their half, scores in the box. Can't click on it because I have to repeat this whole thing, which is really weird. Sponsorship, same. Broadcast, obviously the same. Money gone up in general overall, competition prize money. Super important because something I didn't mention in the first season and this season is, first season, I turned scouting on and forgot to turn it off, which cost me 20 grand. Second season, something just triggered scouting. I didn't manually turn it on in the way that you can. I didn't turn on the scouting this season, but for some reason, we used the scouting at one point this season and cost us 20 grand again. There he is as well. He's in the middle of that defence, the player that left us, Ryan Winters, whose contract is up at the end of the year. They signed him for 6 months, and I don't know why. Because it's not like that triggers his birthday or anything, because that's in November. So he expires again at the end of the year. So I'm just gonna try and nick him again, if I'm honest. If he becomes a free agent at the end of the season, I'm just gonna try and take him back. Please come back, Ryan. Please come back. You're so much better than every other defender. It's worth noting I'm using a generic. It's worth noting I am just using a generic custom kit in game because we've only got the one kit, so let's make the most of it. The expectations for next season are, this is the weirdest part, I have to basically ignore what they want in terms of club culture. Defensively solid, might still be getting that anyway because we don't tend to concede too many, but direct football, I intend to play direct-ish, but a lot of the time it doesn't. Counter-attacking, definitely not. Well, I play counter-attack. Very rarely are we the ones on the counter-attack. Financial damage is an issue because of the things, but they want us to reach the promotion playoff immediately. Oh, so Tier 8 is Regional First Division, apparently. I'm trying to rebuild my old one, but I keep running into an issue where as soon as I add too many columns, it just goes all into each other. So I don't know where that point triggers, so this looks weird right now with the pass percentage over there. This is the best I've got it at this stage. 2 players scored 53 goals. Eddie Brown and James Morris with exactly the same goals. One of them played one less game, but minutes per goal, very similar. XG, very similar. Basically, all of their attacking statistics are very similar. Eddie Brown and James Morris. James Morris, the one who rejected Billericay. 53 goals. Now, it is worth highlighting Billy Fusler, who came in halfway through the season and scored 6 and assisted 4. From midfield, for a long way through the season, it was just those 2 strikers scoring. Towards the end, the midfielders started getting in on the act a little bit more. Hicks scored a couple, Giverin scored a few more, Louis Walsh scored a few. The defenders were doing right. Winters had scored a few from corners. Danny Shaw kind of took that up. Jake Goodman took that up as well when he came in to replace Winters. So the defenders were scoring corners, but Winters took a few goals with him when he left, sadly. And he Thanos did score one, which wasn't a free kick. But yeah, the other players started chipping in with goals, but it was a 2-man show, realistically. Eddie Brown, James Morris, 106 goals between the 2 of them. But going into next season, there's not a lot I want to change. Left wing and left back are the 2 questionable positions at this stage. The rest of the squad, if I can keep them, is pretty good. So the consistency between the seasons now going forward is going to be less and less, thankfully. Left wing, left back. That's it. That's all I've got to maybe improve on for next season. But realistically, if I go on the season preview, in this tier, actually we narrowed to 1 to 10. For a lot of the season, we were 1 to 91. So it would have been a massive bottle job if we hadn't won this league. But we were massive odds-on favourite for this title because of this squad. Now, going up a tier, I suspect it's not going to be much different. They say they want to be in the playoffs, so that kind of gives us a rough indication of where we probably are. We're probably in the sort of top 6 for the tier above once we do get the promotion through. I'm also not sure which one we go into, so that's why I'm not highlighting that league in particular. Because Skegness is in Lincolnshire, and Lincolnshire's Midlands, no matter what other one wants to say, we are in the Midlands. We're not in the North, as such. So realistically, we should be in the regional divisions that are in the middle. I don't know which ones are which, that's my problem. So realistically, we're probably likely to end up in the North one again, like we were here. Although, just one quick mention of the Northwest Division 1 South, where Great Yarmouth play, who are very famously not in the Northwest. Someone also pointed out that Cows are in this division as well, and they might be on the Isle of Wight. Also Stafford as well, for good measure, who are very Midlands as well. Not Northwest either, so admittedly that is Tier 10, where things are way more variable, although arguably in Tier 10 there are way more divisions to put them in more appropriately than Northwest for a very southeast place like Great Yarmouth. Complete opposite corner of the country. But join me on Mondays and Wednesdays, 7:30 or 8 PM, depending on how on the ball I am on that particular day, for the Tier 8 journey. There will only be 2 streams by the time this video goes live, but we won't have finished Tier 8, that's for certain. Join me, twitch.tv/AmazingChi, Mondays, Wednesdays. Sometimes a few extra streams pop in every now and then, so keep an eye, follow me on Twitter, I do announce those things. All those links are in the description below. Like, comment, subscribe, you know the deal by now. Thank you for watching. Hopefully see you over on Twitch. Ta-ra.